What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another long overdue episode of the BroTech Gaming Podcast. It's your boy Sean right here. Here with my homie Carlos, and once again, it's been a minute, but good to be back. Got some stuff we want to talk about. Carlos, how you been, dude?
I've been good, man. Feels good to be back, like we never left.
I know. I was looking at our last episode. It was like July 11. I'm like, damn, it's been like a month and a half. But I mean, it's cool. It gives time for like news topics to drop, like things to talk about, and then we don't get burnt out doing like back to back to back to back episodes.
Yeah, for sure, man. And to be honest, there hasn't been a lot to talk about, like spec wise or like just news for tech. Just
Yeah,
a couple like drama going around, but other than
for sure.
that, I think there were some new GPUs that dropped or that are about to drop. The AMD.
Yeah, AMD dropped their next two GPUs in the lineup, so the 77 and then 7800 XT, which right after that they basically confirmed that that was it. It basically completes the cycle for this generation of GPUs, which honestly, like on both sides, other than like the true like high end, everything kind of mid range is like whatever to me right now. Like they're charging the same amount of money for the mid range cards that you could get last gen for, and last gen still performs exactly the same. So I think I don't know. I think AMD was just like fuck it, we'll release it, and then just on to the next one. So
Yeah. So the next batch of cars don't come out till next year, right?
it's probably gonna be next year. Yeah, I mean, there's supposedly some rumors that AMD said they're not gonna focus on like the top tier cards next year. I don't know what it really means. But like you have like your high performance cards, but then you have like those enthusiast level cards, like the 4080, the 4090, 7900 XTX. Like those are like the enthusiast level cards. Like there's no true reason why most gamers would need that type of performance. But I supposedly AMD's like, we're not gonna do that next year, and they're just gonna focus on more of like the mid to high tier cards. So, which isn't necessarily bad. It's kind of what they did with the 5000 series. Like your 5700 XT was basically like their flagship card 2 generations ago. So I mean, like sometimes you got to take a couple steps back to take 3 steps forward. So
Yeah. Didn't they just release like some news on like what is it like FSR3 or something like that?
yeah, it's supposed to be like their attempt at DLSS 3. Like they're gonna try to utilize some frame generation type stuff, um, which is cool. I think what is good about it is like DLSS 3 you can only get on like the 40 series cards right now. Like they don't have it backwards compatible, but it looks like AMD is letting FSR 3 work on like previous generation cards, NVIDIA and AMD cards. So I think that's kind of cool. Like I doubt it'll be as good as the LSS, but I mean anything that gives you basically like free performance without sacrificing visuals is always a win in my book.
Yeah, for sure.
For
So,
sure.
what else you been up to? We got 2 months to catch up on.
I know. So every now and then I get this itch to like do a PC build because I just enjoy building PCs. So this actually started with my boss at work. My boss Brandon at work wanted to do his first PC build, but he wanted his first PC build to be small form factor. He basically like bought a bunch of parts and was able to fit it into like a literally like a lunchbox size case that you could put a handle on and carry around. And I was like, well, that's pretty cool. And then I asked Michelle, like, Michelle's always wanted a different case because she never really got to choose any of her components on the first PC. I basically just like bought everything and built it for her. So we thought, how about we do a small form factor? I'll let Michelle choose what case she wants, and then we'll just build around it. So basically, what we did was we picked out the lianli Q58, which is basically like their smallest form factor that lianli makes. And I just kind of built everything around that. Michelle wanted an all white, basically like an all white system, which it's not entirely all white. Like most of the components are white, but it's kind of hard because even the lianli doesn't have everything whited out in the case. So it is still a work in progress, but everything's done now. Like we got it done. It's a beast of a little machine. It takes up a very small footprint. Um, but before I get into details about like my build experience, I kind of wanted to talk to you about it because you had like a monster size case before, and then you decided you wanted to like downsize. So tell me about the case that you picked when you switched case sizes.
Yeah, I went from the full tower. I got the lianli the Snow White edition mini. It was really cool. I liked it because I felt like the full tower had too much space. Like from where the motherboard was all the way over to like to the right to where the fans go. There was just like this space of nothing there. And I like honestly it took up too much space too. I think it was heavy. It
Mm,
had to be like a 50 pounds of just like when it was fully built and everything, so it was hard to move around. And this one it is a little heavy also, but it doesn't look heavy. It's really compact. And as of right now, I actually had to take a fan out, the exhaust fan in the back, because the GPU, I have it mounted vertically and it didn't allow space from the fans on top to the top of the GPU, so I took it out. But thermals are still good. It's a three fans on the front, and then I have three fans on the bottom for intake. To It's just basically everything just goes up and exhausts out the top.
mm,
So I think total I have like 10 fans in the case,
that's
which
crazy.
which is even more fans than I could put in the full tower. So
Yeah.
I like it better, and I got like the streamer cables in there. I got the AIO with the little gift um I don't know what you call it, the CPU mount.
It's basically just like a like an LCD. It's the pump. It's
Yeah,
the pump for the AIO, but it has like an LCD screen on the front of it that you could customize.
yeah. I'll throw up a
Yeah.
video what I have on there right now. It's Pokemon themed.
Yeah.
So
With your pink and yellow.
no, I actually changed it. It's Gengar themed. So I have a Gengar on the LCD, and then all the lights are purple. So that's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
So what would you say are like some in your experience like pros and cons from like moving to, I guess it's a smaller form factor for you.
Yeah, it is smaller, I guess, from like height. It's a lot shorter, but it's a lot fatter.
Mm,
So, the only things that I encountered issues with was like clearance. Like if you put your fans on the top, you have to make sure like all your cables are already installed on the bottom, because you're not going to be able to get them into that little crease.
mm,
Um, I think I figured that out the hard way, because I put the fans on and I put the motherboard on and everything, and then I was trying to connect everything and I couldn't, so I had
mm.
to take off the fans again. But I mean, it's not hard. Let's see what else. I had to get a new PSU, the power unit, because it only takes an SFX, and I had a full size power unit, so I had to get a new one. But it was back then when the power units were not that expensive, so it wasn't that big of a deal. But the little like PSU was like small. It's so small. It's
Yeah.
crazy to think that that little thing could power like this beast over here.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed. Agreed. Um, like Michelle's. So we actually drove out to Micro Center, um, and she wanted to go to Micro Center, which I was like, dope. Like, let's go. It's like field trip for me.
Yeah.
But we actually had a pretty decent haul. Like, usually we go to Micro Center and just buy like thermal paste or like an SSD. But we actually came home with like a pretty decent haul. I actually bought me like a new monitor. Like I replaced my Pixio monitor, and I actually bought her a few components for her small lianli. So um, I definitely say that that's kind of like the main factor, though, is like you do have to downsize everything or else it won't work. I bought her an ITX motherboard. I ordered an SFX power supply from lianli for like 140 or $130 or something like that. So like the components are smaller, but they're more expensive at the same time. But I would say the challenges are kind of the same for me. Like you mentioned, sort of like the cable management, and usually when you're building in a regular size case, cable management is like the last thing you do. Like you plug everything in, you shove everything in the back of the case, and then you like bundle it and just shove it in the basement. But this is the first time building this. Like I had to do the cable management first before I started putting everything together, because otherwise you're just gonna have like this jumbled rat nest everywhere.
Yeah, and so before I switched to the new GPU, if I wanted to change anything, I had to take the radiator off, and then I had to take the GPU off, and then I could take that last fan in the back off, because everything was just like so like compact that it's kind of like a car engine, you know, like you're trying to get to a part, but you have to take apart like the whole motor just to get to that little bolt that you're trying to get to. That's how it
Yeah,
was for me. And
very true.
then once I got the new GPU, I wanted to go in and kind of clean it up because I realized that I didn't have the right screws on the radiator, so it was kind of loose. Like I had them on the top, but I didn't have any on the bottom, so like you can like wiggle it around. So once I started going through the screws, I actually found the right one. So I have a push pull config um, on the radiator, so I actually have everything tightened down like where it's supposed to go. So I feel a lot better about it now.
Yeah. How do you think that you'd want to go at some point smaller form factor than even what you have, or you think you're kind of good for now?
I think I'm good for now. If anything, they have another case that's kind of like this, where uh, it has like three windows kind of. So it has the front, the side, and then it has like a little one that's like angled. And I seen there. I don't think you have to get like a vertical GPU bracket for it because it comes with its own. So it would free up a lot more space, and I think it would look a lot cleaner. But as of right now, like I'm cool with it. Like I'm not gonna switch anything up for a while.
Mhm. I'm not gonna lie. So after I put together Michelle's, despite like the headache of like doing all of it, because like there's a lot of drama that went into like me building in this little case, a lot of troubleshooting, which I'm not gonna share because this episode would run too long. But after I got hers done, like it just looks like good. It kind of looks pretty sick. Just it's takes up such a little space, but the idea that like you can cram so much performance into such a small thing is kind of cool. And then I look down at like my like tower, you know, compared to hers. I'm like, well, damn, I think I kind of want like a small case too, but I don't think I'm ready to do it yet because I still like I'm still in love with my computer the way it is. But I think at some point maybe I want to go and do small form factor too, just like Michelle. Um, the main thing that I do notice though about hers in comparison is the thermals. Like her case gets really hot, and she's got a 5600X in hers, which we end up upgrading because I felt like there was something wrong with the 3600. But the 5600 and like the 5000 series Ryzen's just run hot. So that being said, I just have like this little like air cooler inside of her case, because I don't have like an AIO for it or anything. But it just gets really hot. Like not so much the components, but the case. Like the case gets hot because it's pretty much blowing all the hot air out of it, and it has this top panel that just absorbs all the heat. And I swear you could cook an egg on that thing if you're like playing Fortnite for like an hour. So that's the one thing that I'm kind of like messing around with, is just, you know, how to get the thermals better. Um, but supposedly that's sort of like a thing about small form factors. They just get kind of hot. So that is one setback.
Well,
But
what
I
size?
still want one.
Yeah. What size of AIO can you put in there? Because it probably has to be like a 240, right? Like that's the biggest one you can do.
It actually goes up to a 280. So
Oh, okay.
you can do a 120, a 240, and a 280 in it if you want to. It's actually, especially with the new small form factor cases, they are pretty accommodating. I was even able to squeeze like a triple fan GPU in her case. We bought a 6650 XT at Micro Center. It's the ASRock Steel Series Legend, which is like their all white GPU. Um, but it was a triple fan, and I was able to squeeze it in there, so it has a decent amount of space. It just comes down to your cable management, because if you're not doing your cable management right, then it's hard to cram different components in there. But I'll post some pictures up. Um, or I'll take pictures of it and we can put it up somewhere and everybody can see. But I thought it came out pretty clean. So
Nice. A lot of zip ties in there.
a lot of zip ties, zip
Yeah,
tie
that's
heaven.
my like the back of my PC is spaghetti, dude. Spaghetti guts. It's just I like
Yeah,
pushed everything in there and I just put like the cover on and I was just like, I'm not fucking with that. I don't
yeah.
got time for that.
I was a little bummed because like I wanted to put some cable combs in there because the lianli power supply actually came with braided cables, but because of the way they want you to route the cable management system, you can't really use cable combs because it would take up too much space. So I'm trying to figure out ways on how to make it look cleaner, but like all the cables are just kind of like wrapped like that, like a rope. So I couldn't really use combs even if I wanted to, but like maybe I could mess around with it and do better. But as right now, it looks pretty clean. So
All right. You ran benchmarks on it and everything.
yeah, you know it. Yeah, thankfully, like she's rocking a 1080p. It's 75 hertz, so I don't have to have her games run like at 120, 150 FPS. Like I can cap everything at 75, and that actually helps with the temperatures a lot. So she's got a pretty decent little rig right now for 1080p gaming. I like it. I'm
That's
jealous.
cool. I actually thought about doing one for the living room.
Oh yeah, like a server computer or just gaming too.
Not really game. I think more for like just entertainment. Maybe like throw like well, it's kind of like I'm kind of debating because we have a smart TV, so it already has all the apps on there, and it's probably gonna be way easier if I built a computer and like had like the keyboard and mouse on the couch and stuff like that. But like we don't have cable, so we could use it to watch like I use the PC to watch like sports. We watch like TV shows and stuff like that, but we use a website, and I feel like it would be a lot better if we used it on the PC and connected that to the TV. I think it would be a lot cleaner,
Do it.
but I don't know.
Build one. I got an extra 3600 that I'm not using right now, so just
Well,
do it, bro.
I
Build
still
one.
have my 3700X, so
Yeah, that's true. You still got components too. You could throw together like half a PC right now if you wanted to.
yeah. I don't know, man. I'm just debating right now.
Yeah, I just enjoy doing it just as a side hobby. It's just fun. It's just fun seeing what you could do with all the components. But anyways, moving on from that.
Yeah.
Next
So
subject.
speaking about movies, I know you had talked about that you went to the movies to go watch John Wick 4.
Mhm.
And so I decided I was gonna rewatch the whole series up to number 4. And I think just last week I finished number 4. And I guess we can get into spoilers since we both seen it. And yeah, it's been out for like a month now, but I
Yeah.
really liked it. The only thing that I had issues with was I feel like they overused his jacket, like bullet. Yeah, like he was
I
just
know.
doing this through the whole movie,
I
and
got a little I got a little desensitized to it after a while because he was using it constantly.
yeah, because I think it got introduced in what number 2 or number 3.
I feel like it was in three, probably. Like I felt like he was still kind of like vulnerable in part one and part two. Like it was really just about his skills to keep him alive. But like without that suit, man, he would have died like 1,000 times because like he just kept eating bullets with that thing. Um, it kind of made it to where he didn't have to like do a whole lot except shoot back. You know, he was
Yeah,
like a tank.
yeah, because they did introduce the armored like people where you actually had to like lift up their helmet and like shoot them or like cut their neck from there because they were like fully armored. So it was kind of just like two tanks like shooting like BBs at each other until they got up close, and then like that hand to hand combat, like obviously he was gonna win. And so that was just one thing that I noticed. It got kind of repetitive, and I kind of just was like, all right, like, you guys can cut that out now.
Yeah, that's kind of how I felt too. I mean, like I don't think any of them will be better than to me like the first John Wick. The first John Wick's still the best one because it was so original. I think that a close second though would still be John Wick 4 because 2 and 3 everything did get pretty repetitive because it's just like how many dudes can you like throw at John Wick in one movie, which they ended up like capping that probably in part 4. But I hate to say it, I think they have to use those type of like tactics and techniques because like Keanu Reeves is kind of old, man. Like he's like late 50s, almost 60 now to like when you think about like Neo being like almost retired, like he can't do the things he did in the first movie, even though it's only supposed to be like a few years later. Like when you watch the first movie and then you watch 4, like I swear Keanu Reeves is like 20 years older in 4, and he was a lot younger looking in part 1. But you know he can't dodge bullets anymore like he used to, so he has to just eat bullets now.
Yeah. Yeah, I did notice that like a lot of his grapple moves, when they were he was like on the floor and trying to like choke him out and stuff. Like I noticed he was moving slow, like
Mhm.
him and the other dude that he was fighting. It was just kind of like rolling over each other until like he was done with the fight. I was like, that's cool. It's like, um,
Is what it is. I mean, I thought it was still a pretty good action movie overall. Like the God, it was like a video game, something Miami, Hotline Miami or something like that, where it's like a top down action game, and you're just like moving through rooms with like this shotgun. And they did that in the movie with like the whole like top down, him like moving through different rooms. I actually thought that was pretty badass. Like I just thought it was like cinematically one of like the best action movies that I've ever seen. So
yeah, I actually really like that because he had that the incendiary like shotgun or whatever it was. He was just blowing motherfuckers
he was
up.
blowing
Like
dudes up, man. That was so good. That was such a good scene.
they honestly
Yeah,
should have just gave him the shotgun at the beginning instead of like because they didn't even shoot at him one time with it, and
yeah,
he got it, and then he was just like mowing fools down with it.
yeah. That was gnarly. That was good. I thought that was very good.
Yeah, I kind of wanted like another appearance from Halle Berry to come back and kind of just like help him out a little bit because like in 3 she had her dogs, and that whole fight scene with the dogs like running up the wall and doing all that stuff was pretty cool. I would have liked to see that again.
Yeah, but then they already crammed like so much into the movie, and they already had so many cameos too, between like Donnie Yen and like a few other people. Like I actually recognize a lot of the other martial artists that were in the movie, just from like other action movies that I've seen. But there were already like so many cameos, and the movie just was breakneck speed, like nonstop. Like there was never downtime or filler. Um, I mean, like they didn't even have enough time to give Keanu Reeves any like dialogue in the movie, so they just had to keep moving with the action. I'm like,
Yeah.
why doesn't he say anything in the movie? It's like he's not even he's like an NPC, dude.
No, well, I mean they would ask him a question, he'd be like, "Yeah."
Yeah, but that's it though. It's just I don't know. It's cool. I still appreciate it for everything it was.
Yeah. Another thing, like the only thing I didn't really like about the movie was the ending.
Yeah.
Um, so I get that it was like kind of like a twist that they kind of just manipulated. What's his name? The guy from It.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Start Skarsgård.
Yeah,
Bill Skarsgård.
yeah. So
Yeah, yeah.
I like how they did that, and then he, spoilers. So like he died at the end, or supposedly he died at the end because
Does he die?
they show his tombstone next to his wife, and then they walk away, and then credits, and then there's an end credit scene. I don't know if you watched that.
Mm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
remember.
so
I watched the end credit scene.
yeah, so like it didn't really have anything to do with John Wick. It was kind of just the daughter of Scorpion goes to kill like Donnie Yen, but it doesn't
Yeah,
even show it. She just like pulls out the knife, and then it's like it's over.
yeah.
So I would kind of think that Donnie Yen would still take her out because the daughter wasn't really that like experienced in fighting.
Hmm.
So I don't know. I don't think the end credit scene really did anything for me. It didn't really like build any like future for it.
Hmm.
But yeah, that was
I think the idea behind it, because I mean they're already talking about like they have the Continental side show that they're gonna do. I think it would be cool just to be within the John Wick universe if like Donnie Yen he's kind of free now. Like he doesn't have to kill because now the like the high table is kind of gone. What I kind of foresee happening is she's gonna try to kill him. He's like a badass, even though he's just like sitting on a park bench somewhere. Like he's just because he's like all humbled and at peace doesn't mean that he doesn't have like the instincts. So he's gonna be able to like stop her from assassinating him, and like maybe like befriend her or train her to be like a continental type assassin. Like I wouldn't mind seeing like side stories about stuff like that. Like if it's a Netflix series or something. But I mean, John Wick's not dead. Like, let's be honest, he's not dead. So they'll bring him back. They can't end it that way. It doesn't make sense. He's just like his body just disappears. Like okay,
Yeah.
just
Well,
saying.
that'd be cool if he does come back.
Spoilers.
I'll definitely watch it.
Spoiler alert. All right. Any more movies that you've been watching?
So I did watch Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. That was the newest Spider-Man, the animated one. And that movie was so good. Like the animation was really good. The storylines were really good. I can't wait for part 3 next year because they already announced it. I know you haven't seen it, so I like I won't go into it, but storyline was really good.
Okay.
A lot of
I mean,
action.
I do want to. I will get into it. Obviously, heard nothing but good things about it, so definitely something that I'll watch, and then we can share our opinion maybe on the podcast.
Yeah. So one movie that we did watch, No Hard Feelings. I actually watched that one last week, and I felt like that movie was really good. It was really funny. Jennifer Lawrence did look a little weird at the beginning of the movie,
Yeah.
but like Karen just keeps saying that it's because she has long hair now, and
Yeah.
I guess it is kind of true because I go back and I see like all the movies and stuff. She has really short hair. So yeah,
Yeah.
she did look a little bit different, but I felt like it was more like she had like work done or something because like her skin looked super like
Like
smooth
maybe
and
like
like
tighter.
tight. Yeah. So, but
Maybe.
then like it was only like the first 20 minutes of the movie, and then the rest of the movie she looked normal.
Yeah. I we watched it with my parents. You even show her like laughing and cracking up. I don't know if my mom and my dad were finding the movie quite as humorous. Especially especially the scene at the beach when they're skinny dipping at the beach.
Yeah,
I don't
that was
I don't
funny.
want to like necessarily spoil it. It is still kind of like a new movie, but it was fun just being able to like watch kind of like a raunchy comedy again and not worry about any of like the serious stuff. It kind of felt like a good old fashioned like raunch comedy. So obviously they could have gone a lot further. It wasn't to me. It wasn't that bad, but I thought Jennifer Lawrence was funny.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of like American Pie esque type of movie like back then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. Like, there's just so many like little things in that movie that we just thought were funny. Like when he's trying to get the courage, to, like talk to his parents about them, like setting them up. He like pours that big ass like glass of wine, like up to the top, and just like, like I'm like, I want to do that. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah,
So,
there's a lot of good stuff in there. Try not to go into too much detail so you guys can experience it for yourself, but definitely
yes,
recommend it. It's really funny. Just, have a beer with it. It's a good experience.
thumbs up, thumbs up, comedy movie. Go watch it now
Uh,
streaming.
Something else that me and Karen started watching again is Jersey Shore.
Ah, it's back.
Yeah,
Somebody,
so
my buddy at work was talking about it. My like his name's Carlos too. So not to replace you, but
huh.
he's a far second place. But anyways, he was talking about Jersey Shore being back. I'm just like, damn, they're actually back.
Yeah, so Sammy decided to come back.
Mm,
But like Sam is there, but Ron isn't. So they're kind of like teasing Ron coming back. But like I feel like if Ron came back while Sam's there, like Sam would just leave.
yeah,
Or but like in the show she's saying like, that was like so long ago. I haven't talked to him in like 10 years. Like and it doesn't even look like she's drinking. Like everybody in there's in rehab, so nobody else is really drinking.
everybody's sober.
Yeah, like half of the cast is sober. So I feel like it's not really gonna be as hyped as they think it's gonna be for that like total OG reunion, but I feel like it's
Mm,
still gonna be good to watch. Like the first 2 episodes were good, We still have to watch the third episode.
Yeah. What is that streaming on right now?
I think it's like Peacock or something.
Oh, like one of those, like you need a streaming service to watch it. It's
Yeah.
not like episodic. Like, I mean, it is episodic, but it's not like on Spectrum or like Hulu or anything like that.
I don't think it's on Hulu, but I think it's on like on demand. If you have Spectrum, it should be on there.
Okay.
Like, they're still show. It's still gonna be a MTV show, like all the way to the end. But I think they're just like sending it out to Peacock, so they can watch it on there and get a little cut from that too.
Yeah, I'm down for a little bit of Jersey Shore. That sounds good.
Yeah, there was a time, dude, I gave up on it because it was during the pandemic, when they were filming during the pandemic, and they had went to a hotel somewhere in Vegas, but not even like in Vegas. It was like outskirts Vegas, like it was in the middle of the desert, and they were only talking about one thing the whole time, and it was Angelina's wedding, and how they gave like a bad toast or something like that, and like, I swear, bro, it was like 12 episodes of just them talking about that. And by like the sixth episode, I was like, I'm done. I was like, you can watch this by yourself. I'm done.
Like they lost their magic. It's over.
Yeah. So I guess this is like a new season, but it's already part B. So I started watching on part B because I didn't really care about part A. So part B is when Sam comes back and it's actually starting to get better.
Oh, that's interesting. I don't know if I'm gonna get back into it, but like I might on like an off day if I'm bored. I'll check it out. Um, yeah. You got anything else to say about Jersey Shore?
Nah, it's just like a guilty pleasure type show.
Yeah. We haven't actually, like, I forget how long it's been since our last podcast, but like we've actually binged a few shows since the last podcast, but I don't know if I talked about it, but like I started like watching The Boys like last month and binged all of that, like all done with the 3 seasons. Very, very highly recommend for just anybody into like graphic violence and comic books and badassery. If you're tired of like the DC and Marvel formula of just like absolute boredom and shit show, go watch The Boys because it will it will change the way you feel about superheroes. What else? We actually binged Ted Lasso. Did not expect to enjoy Ted Lasso as much as we did. Like that is just a good, like it's a fun, wholesome show. Like I don't know what else I can say about it. It was a lot better than I thought it would be, so we really enjoyed that. I'm sure there's like other things that I'm not thinking of right now. Like other than that, we're just watching like 90 Day Fiance stuff, which is always good fun. So
Is Ed still in there?
he's on that new one they did now. It's called like Paradise. Like last chance in Paradise or something. It's sort of like they get all the crappy couples back together and they put them all on an island. I'm like, oh, this sucks. This is gonna be like a fun, like cringe experience. So, he's on that one, but otherwise we're watching like before the 90 days. There's new couples. You still got like Gino and Jasmine on there. Jasmine's like the crazy like Brazilian girl. And Gino's the weird one that always has to wear a hat, like no matter what. Like he wears a hat all the time. So they're funny. But yeah, that's all we've really been watching lately.
That's funny.
Besides the stuff that we already binged.
Yeah, I haven't watched that in a while. I think after that episode with Gino and Jasmine, I think that was the first and like only season I've watched since like the beginning to the end, because the people that they had on there were like really like good people, like to watch.
Yeah. I don't know if this season's like as good as the previous seasons, but we watch it for Gino and Jasmine, and then on the other way, there's a new Filipino couple that's on there. Like this Harry Potter looking white boy from Utah moves to the Philippines, and his girlfriend's kind of crazy, so it's fun watching the Filipino stuff.
Nice. Yeah, I think that's it for TV. So we do have fantasy football draft next weekend, next Saturday night. I'm excited for that. you are invited to come over. We're gonna have some drinks and some food, maybe some sliders and some hot dogs in a blanket, or pigs in a blanket, so we call them.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
yeah, so that'll be
yeah.
fun.
Not much to say about that yet. I mean, I don't even know like what's good right now with the like the draft poll. Like we'll just see where it's at like the week of. Like I tend to just kind of like not give a shit until I need to. So it worked pretty good for me last season. So I will attempt the same strategy this season.
Yeah. So for people that don't know, Sean is the fantasy league champion from last year. Give him a little clap. So I think I'm gonna get like a little trophy for for this year. So you get to have the trophy this year, and then I still want to do like the what do you call it, for like the last place person.
Oh, like a raspberry award or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay,
So first place gets something and last place will get something, and then they have to hold on to that for the whole year next year.
that'd be cool. It's got to be something like absolutely like disgusting that you don't want to showcase.
Yeah, something like it was like a sacco. I think that's what it's called. And you just get like a
Oh, okay.
ball sack like trophy.
That sounds
It's
amazing.
something that you don't want in your house.
I'll just display that all the time.
Yeah, so we are doing a $50 buy-in. So what is it? 8 times 5, so 400 $400 pot. Definitely gonna be worth it. Make sure people stay engaged with their teams, because it's a lot of money.
A lot of money. That is a lot of money. That'll be fun. That'll be fun. We'll get into it when it starts up. Um, One topic we kind of missed. We were going to talk about a little bit. It's the Linus Tech Tips Fallout. So, um, this was kind of interesting because like I didn't anticipate this kind of like blowing up the way it did. And when we say blowing up, like we're talking about like in the tech community, which is like in comparison like very very small to everything else. But the way it started was Linus from the Linus Tech Media Group. Um, they had like a convention or an expo in Canada, and some vloggers were going around and they were looking at some of like the gear that Linus Tech Tip uses for like all of their benchmarking and data. Like every time they put up like videos and stuff, like they have like basically like a whole like shop where all this stuff is. And they threw a little shade at Hardware Unboxed and Gamers Nexus. Something about how like Linus always uses new data and like new techniques, and they don't reuse old data like some other two YouTube channels like Gamers Nexus and Hardware Unboxed. So they like said that on a live vlog. And then Hardware Unboxed clapped back on Twitter, just kind of like as a joke, talking about the data. And then Gamers Nexus clapped back and said, well, like, he went into deep dive and said, like, well, actually, if you look at all of their videos, there's almost always some data points that are inaccurate or wrong. And this kind of just like spiraled
Snowballed.
into this crazy thing. All of a sudden, there were allegations about like employees being overworked, like, high expectations, like not enough resources, like pressure. There was some media, like public resource chick that said that she was expected to put out like so much content on like Instagram and Twitter and like TikTok, like every week she was supposed to just keep producing more and more and more content. She was like super burnt out. She actually like called them out too. And now Linus is kind of under fire for a bunch of stuff. He's kind of taking a step back to sort of do damage control.
Yeah, definitely. I think it was about 2 weeks ago now, maybe less than 2 weeks, but they put out a video, and they had like all the higher ups have like a one-on-one with the camera, kind of directly saying to us what they were going to change and what they did wrong, and that they were going to take a week off to basically have like an all hands meeting to go over what they're going to do to make everything better going forward. And so they did that. They didn't put any videos out for a whole week, and that's probably like 50 videos that they missed out on. All that monetization that they missed out. But I mean, they're a big company. They can afford to take a week off.
Yeah.
So just last night, actually, he put out a video, and he was trying to be like really transparent with everything on how they're gonna change everything. But then he got into like benefits and stuff that their people are getting. And I was just like watching the video, and I'm just like, I don't give a shit about your company's benefits.
Like kind of cringy.
Yeah, I was just like, I know you guys are trying to be transparent, but you guys are kind of going too far now, you know?
Yeah.
And so they talked about like, other than that, they talked about like trolls like in their comments section and stuff like that. And Linus was like, you should be ashamed of yourself and blah blah blah, pointing the finger. And I was just like, okay. And like
Mm,
it was like a 10-minute video, just like him just going over like everything basically.
that's kind of bad in my opinion, because it's like, your focus is really supposed to be about like the employees that have helped build your brand and make you a successful channel. Like the last thing you should be investing your energy into is like the bad comments and trolls on social media. It's like, those should be the furthest things from your mind. Like you obviously fucked up somewhere. You probably got a little bit too big for your boots and now you're doing damage control. Like just kind of like strip everything down and go back to the basics of like why you're successful. Like take care of your people, you know? Like if you can't take care of like your people to uh keep your channel relevant, then you need to reassess what your priorities are. I don't know, man. I don't even really watch Linus Tech Tip videos anymore anyways. Like I always felt like they were just too big and they were really putting out too much content. Like it just kind of got oversaturated, but he's clearly not understanding how to handle all this criticism he's getting right now.
Yeah, it kind of seems like it. But he was also, I guess he made a team that were gonna like basically proofread twice before the video gets edited, and then once after the video gets edited before it actually gets uploaded, which is cool. Like, they're actually doing like damage control on that, but I feel like it's still a lot to do for like a tech video, you know?
I still kind of don't care, like nobody like in the other tech sources talks about like their entire like content creation process. Like nobody cares about behind the scenes. It's like, hey, like when you put out information, just make sure it's accurate and maybe start shooting for quality over quantity right now. Like I don't care if you have like 85 editors that are like reviewing like one piece of content. It's just like, well, that's cool. So are there going to be inaccuracies when you put it out? Because that's all that's going to matter. Like what happens if they put it out and they're just like, oh yeah, like look at all these things that they fucked up on. It's like, well, what happened? You have like 13 editors right now that were supposed to fix that shit.
I guess they just take the video down and scrap it,
Yeah,
I'm
I
guessing.
guess they can afford it. Anyways, yeah, I don't really have a lot else to say about that. It's just it was kind of an interesting piece of tech drama that's been happening the last couple weeks. It's just, yeah, I just wanted to talk about it a little bit.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Crazy, crazy.
So another YouTuber that I wanted to talk about just like a minute or two, but so Bitwit, he came out with a video saying that he was like done with the whole tech industry type thing, and that he was gonna shift everything over into a podcast. So I was kind of excited for the podcast, because like I'm a big fan of Bitwit, and I want to support him. And I started, watching his podcast, and I'm like, what the fuck is this?
It's not
Like,
even like a tech podcast.
yeah, so when he said that he was leaving the tech world, he was leaving the tech world, and he was over there talking about like the most randomest shit. And then he has like
Literally.
some weird dude on there that like I don't think a lot of the people like. Like I didn't really like him. Like he just seems so bland. And yeah, so now he's kind of like reeling back. He's doing like a build of the month on his Bitwit channel. He's kind of like coming back into it. Just recently on his podcast, he had Austin Evans, and that whole podcast they were talking about tech stuff, like um just like how to make a video, like their fun parts of making the video, like past videos that they liked making, and like stories behind it. And that one podcast was probably like my favorite one, just because of what they talk about, and I can
Yeah.
actually like relate to a lot of the stuff that they talk about.
Yeah, because I mean, it's true though. I mean, he built his brand on, you know, the tech world, the tech community, PC building space. He shifts gears and does a podcast. Like, obviously, the audience that you're going to draw into that are going to be interested in the tech space aspect of it. And he's trying to be more of like a variety podcaster that's just he just wants to talk about like all other things, not tech. And I'm like, well, you're probably going to lose some of your audience, man, because that's probably why they came to your podcast in the first place.
Yeah, definitely. So I'll try and give it like another listen, but maybe not. But
Mhm.
I mean, I feel like he can learn from that. You know, like he has a tech tuber on there, and then he's gonna get like higher views on there. You know, maybe stick to that. Like it doesn't have to be like breaking down GPUs and stuff like that, but like fun stories about like tech YouTube videos, which
Mhm.
I found like it was interesting. So
Or even more like personal experiences with like doing like different builds, or more behind the scenes kind of stuff probably would be kind of cool. um on that note too, the hardware unboxed guys that I like so much on YouTube, apparently they've started a podcast as well, which I haven't heard an episode from them yet. So I'm probably gonna check them out and see what's going on with their podcast. So
right, sounds good. I think that's it for whatever I have on there.
did you go to any concerts recently, Carlos?
I did actually. I went to the Carol G concert in Las Vegas at Allegiant Stadium, and that whole experience was really fun. It was my first time at that stadium. Like I'm a big Raider fan, so being at the home of the Raiders, it was exciting. Even though it wasn't a game, it was still cool to go in there and just like walk around a little bit. We kind of got lost for a second, just because when it's a concert, they change like where you can go, so it's not really accessible to like go up some stairs or take some elevators because it kind of goes into like the backstage kind of area. So
Mhm.
like we almost got into because we almost took a wrong door.
That's cool. That's cool. I mean, we're gonna be we have a Sam Smith concert to go to on Thursday, so it's for Michelle. I like his music. I don't know what his show is gonna be like. I've seen videos, but that's gonna be at SoFi. So at least I can say I've been to SoFi Stadium, even though fuck the Rams. I'm just kidding. I'm not a Rams fan, but it'll be cool just to experience it. But I'm glad you at least got to see a concert uh, in your main football team stadium. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was nice. That stadium is really nice. You can really tell that they spent a lot of money on there. So it was inside, so it was air conditioned, which I completely like expected because it's in the middle of the fucking desert in the middle of summer.
Mhm.
So, but the only thing, so her concert was at 7, starts at 7. We kind of left around like 5:30 ish, because you can walk from the Mandalay Bay. There's a little bridge that goes over. I think there's other entry points if you want to drive in there, but the bridge was the easiest way. But
Mhm.
dude, it was hot, man. Like we were, it's like almost like a less than a mile walk from Mandalay Bay to the stadium. But dude, like the sun beating on you, like I'm over there with like a tall can trying to drink it before we get in. One cool thing is that they had this tent and they had like chillers in there and a whole bunch of chairs, so you can go in there and it's like 50, 60 degrees in there. Like it felt
Nice.
so good. I didn't want to leave.
So like a VIP.
No, it's just everybody that like kind of like walks through it just to like cool you down.
It's like I'm just gonna stay here. Go enjoy the concert.
Yeah, so we got in, we found our seats, and it's probably like 7 o'clock already, and we're kind of waiting, and we're kind of looking around, and it looks really empty. So what had happened was a week before, they had changed the date from Friday, August 11th to Thursday, August 10th. And they changed it a week before. I guess it was because the 49ers were coming into town to play the Raiders on Sunday. So I guess they needed that turnover time to change the stadium back into an actual football stadium. So a lot of people were so mad that because people have flights coming in, Friday morning from wherever they're coming from. They already have their hotels booked for Friday night. And now they have to get a flight for Thursday, change their hotel reservation, from Friday to Thursday. and it was just a big deal for them. For us, it wasn't really that big of a deal because we were driving out there, and we kind of just canceled our hotel reservations and just got it a day earlier. And we're just gonna leave a day earlier. We're gonna be there Thursday, Friday, and come back Saturday. That's what we did, and we honestly, I think we kind of saved money because the hotels on Thursday aren't as expensive as they are on Friday.
Hmm.
So it kind of worked out for us. But yeah, so 7 o'clock, we're looking around, it's kind of empty. And so she actually didn't come out on stage until 9 o'clock.
That's
And
crazy.
yeah, so we're just sitting there for 2 hours just waiting.
Yeah.
And by that time, the stadium was packed. So it was like sold out, all the seats were taken. And then she came out for about 3 hours. So she was done around midnight.
Yeah, but did she at least have any like pre-show like stuff happening, like other acts or like other singers that were like on prior to her?
She had a DJ that came out and was just kind of like playing music for like 20 minutes, and then there
Okay.
was like a lot of like blankness. I mean, it was the first concert on the tour, so I'm
Yeah.
sure they're
Okay.
trying to like iron out all the wrinkles and stuff.
Yeah. At least you got the
um
first one. Usually the first one is like I would say like it's always better to go to the first one than the last one because at the last one they're just kind of burnt out. They don't have that same energy anymore. So the first show is probably pretty cool.
yeah, it was cool. I was kind of bummed out that she didn't bring anybody. It was her by herself the whole concert. And
Hmm.
then I'm watching TikToks of her being at the Rose Bowl, and she's bringing out like Becky G. She's bringing out like all these other artists that she has features with, and I was like, man, I want to see Becky G. But oh well, another time.
Another time. All right. So I think we still got a little bit of time. Let's talk about some new games. There really wasn't like a lot of like announcements per se. Like there's not like, in my opinion, a lot of news really for upcoming games. We did have some new games drop kind of recently. Have you been like playing or getting into any games other than a little Fortnite, Mr. Nine Kill win, and just Apex?
Yeah, those are the only two games I've been playing. I haven't played no like Warzone, nothing.
Yeah, I haven't touched Warzone. Um, the only games that everybody's really like hyped up about, like my boss, one of the reasons why he built his PC was because he wanted to get back into gaming for Baldur's Gate. Baldur's Gate was a big deal that just came out, getting really good reviews. Recently on Friday, Armored Core 6 dropped, which I'm probably gonna look into. Like, it's just basically like a mech, like warrior kind of like shooter action game. So I might check that one out. Otherwise, new chapter just dropped in Fortnite, so they just added more stuff again. Me and Michelle are probably gonna grind that Game Pass a little bit just because it's fun. And then I ranked up today, like 2 hours ago on Apex. So now I'm a rookie too.
Damn, nice.
I know, dude. Apex just pisses me off so much, man. It's just so hard. It's still satisfying at the same time. So
It is. Like the last couple seasons has just been so sweaty. I don't know why.
yeah, I don't even really like this season either, though. Like I never cared about Revenant's character enough for a refresh. So I still don't know like everything that's been changed so far in Apex. But it's just like, like Fortnite has a new chapter and it feels like a new game. I mean, it's the same map, a lot of the same weapons, but they just add so much to every season. Like it literally changes the way you play the game. Um, and like Apex is still kind of like at its core the same game that we've been playing, and I don't know if that's good or bad. Like I said, I don't care about Revenant enough. I mean, it's still a solid game just in general, but I just sometimes I kind of wish it had a little bit more going on with each season, except just like a few like weapon tweaks, vaulting some guns, ground loot some guns, but then just like, here's a new character that you probably won't use. And that's kind of all I get out of Apex right now.
Yeah, that's true. But I feel like Fortnite makes a lot more money than Apex does, so they kind of have the funds to do that, to add like all the emotes and the dancing emotes with the songs, and you
Yeah.
know, map changes, like drastic map changes. Because dude, I've been playing that game for a while and I still haven't gone to all the spots on the map. Like I still
Yeah.
have some that are darked out.
Yeah. I just think it's more fun than Apex is. Like, of course I enjoy Apex, but Apex is more competitive. Fortnite's just more fun, you know? Like me, Michelle can hop on Fortnite and just have fun and not take it seriously. Whereas like if we were playing Apex, we'd need to be fucking like competitive. Different mindset.
Yeah. I am waiting for Alan Wake 2. I definitely want to get that and get into that one.
Yeah.
You know, just for like the ray tracing. So I think that one's gonna have ray tracing.
Mhm.
Finally utilize the 4080 to its max capacity.
Or you could just download Minecraft.
Is that free?
I don't know. But it's got ray tracing.
I might.
Yeah, right.
No, I won't.
Yeah. Otherwise, that's all I've got for just like gaming in general. So
Yeah, kind of a lackluster summer.
a little bit, man. It has been kind of, but I mean, it's cool. It's fine. We still got our beastie rigs that we get to enjoy every now and then. So
Yeah, true that.
true dat. Well, I think that's all I got, unless you got anything else.
Nope, that's it.
Cool. You want to send us out?
Definitely. So my name is Carlos. This is the homie Sean. You guys are tuned in to the Bro Tech Gaming Podcast, and we'll catch you guys in another 2 months.
Peace,
Later.
everybody.